Howdy guys, lovely to see you all again. Happy New Year and all that jazz. As of recently, me and my baby son have been binge listening to Queen and he's loving it. And we're listening to the solo of Killer Queen and I was like, you know what little buddy? I think I'm going to do a solo lesson on that. So without further ado, let's have a look at the solo from Killer Queen by Queen. Let's take a look. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. I'm going to start off with a really slow bend from 8 of the second string. When I get to the top, I'm going to hit it twice again. So we're going to go at the end of that. I'm going to work into that next phrase. I was playing 8 of the second string, then a pull off from 6 to 5 on the second, and then jumping to 7 of the third. That's going to sound like this. From the start. Okay, then after that I work into this phrase. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing 5, 6 on the first string, then jumping to 8 of the second. At the end of that, I'm going to quickly jump back to 5 of the first string. At the end of that, very similar to what we had before, a pull off from 6 to 5 on the second string, and then jumping to 7 of the third string. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far. Okay, hopefully that's all making sense. Then I'm working into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm going to play 6 of the second string up and back. So I'm going to play it once at the top and then once at the bottom of that bend. At the end of that, I'm going to play 3 of the first string and then a pull off from 4 to 3 on the second. And then that's going to kind of resolve to, what's that? A C note on 5th fret of the 3rd string. And you'll notice that it's kind of working around almost like a sort of a caged minor situation. We're sort of going from A minor to G minor as well. So it's kind of interesting to have that key change, but a lot of the shapes are just the same 2 frets back. So we had, at the end of that, goes into that phrase. That's the one. What I'm doing is I'm playing 3 of the first string and then playing 4, 6 on the second. And then I'm going to play 3 to 4 on the second string again. But I'm going to pull off that 4 back to 3. So we're going to go like this. At the end of that, resolving to 5 of the 3rd string. Okay? Then after that, I work into all of those sort of slidey bits with all the extra harmonies in the background. Let's just go from the most recent sort of G minor key change. Okay, hopefully that's all making sense. Then I have exactly the same slide from 2 to 3 twice, and I've got that 3 times in a row. So there's 3 of those in a row, but what I want to do at the end of the third one is I'm going to add in this little phrase. Now there's so many other overdubs and other crazy things going on during this solo, but I did sort of find that ending there and then adding in this fill will get you into position for the next section. So even though it might be a little bit more complicated to play than what's on the album layered, it does sound a little bit better to join them. So I'm going 3 of this. At the end of that, I'm going to play 12, 13, 14 on the 3rd string. And then that 14 slides to 17. Okay, let's have a look at the whole thing from the start. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the second section. We're going to start off with a pre-bend from 15 of the third string. I'm going to hit it twice at the top, bring it down to 15 as just a regular note. Now I'm going to do the pre-bend with a down part, and then resolve that onto 12 of the third string. Altogether, that's going to sound like this. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. I'm going to play 18 twice on the second string and then do a hammer-on pull-off going 15, 16, 15. At the end of that, resolving that to 17 of the third. Altogether. Okay, now we're going to borrow that first chunk again, but add a different end in. Okay, let's slow that down. I'm playing 15 twice on the second string, and then hammer on pull off going 16, 17, 16 on the third. At the end of that, let's slow that down. I'm going to play 15 of the second string and 17 of the third, then 16, 15 on the second, and then 18, 16 on the second. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. Alright, so what I've got at the start of that was a bend from 18 of the second string into a regular note. Just a simple 18. Then I was playing 16, 18 on the second string, then jumping to 15 of the first, and then resolving to 17 of the third. So altogether, at the end of that, cheeky major to minor change there. Love that sound. Going up and down as a bend on 18 of the second, then rolling from 16 of the second to 16 of the third. So I'm just rolling that pointer there. At the end of that, I'm going to play 18 and then slide from 16 to 15. And that was on the third string. So from the start of that phrase, at the end of that, so what I'm going is I'm going sliding back into it from the 16 to 15, and then I play 15 again and play 17, 15. Hopefully that's making sense. At the end of that, I was doing two bends from 18 of the second string, but the second one comes up and down. Okay, after that I work into this phrase. So what I've got here is a bend from 18 of the second string again, but my pinky comes underneath and I'm playing a cheeky note on 18 of the first string whilst that bend is still up. At the end of that, two mini bends from 18, and then from that point, I do a very slight semitone bend from 20 of the second string. So that last chunk, and that's the whole solo. So let's go right back to the start of the second section. We'll play it slowly, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the solo from Killer Queen by Queen. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And do check out in the links in the description a link to my modal course on the Udemy page, which is pretty rad. I've also got a Patreon that would be great for you guys to check out. And if you could like my page on Facebook, that would be delightful and grand as well. Hope this is a delightful start to the new year. I'll catch you guys all very soon.